if you're operating your divine masculine, she's operating her divine feminine, your energies should actually exponentially increase or multiply. It shouldn't be 1+1 = 2. It should be 1+1 = 4 when you put the energies together. That's what should actually happen if you guys are operating in harmony.
We're going into quantum math, not rudimentary math.
100%.
We're going into a space where regular math don't math.
Want to take a deep breath?
Yes.
Do it, bro. In through the nose, deep into the belly, out through the mouth. This time in through the nose. 6 count. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale. 8 count. One more time. In through the nose for 6. Hold. Inhale. 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 Exhale. 8 count. All right. Man, what a day, bro. What a day, man. What a fucking day.
Yeah.
Beautiful view.
What's the day been for you?
It's been cool. It's been like a lot of just me keeping up with like the momentum that's going on in my life right now. Being okay with that because things aren't as together as I like them to be. But I realize there's these phases of like where things are, speaking about sales now specifically, but when things are like really together and succinct and I'm moving things through, and then there's periods where, okay, I've completed that. Then what's next? And so I'm in the what's next period of where the next deal is coming from, how I'm going to close what I have, where is the important activity going to come from, identifying that, and then putting some structure around it. So it's restructuring things so I can continue being successful. That's it.
Man, I definitely feel you on that on a very big way because
Yeah.
like I'm feeling very similarly with my job right now. Like I mentioned before, like my biggest direct competition in the company left. And like, so, and then another person on the team in a different division, but it's still in my territory, also like same size desk, she left as well. So like two of the biggest producers like in my territory left recently. And so like left a lot of room, but at the same time, my competition had all the relationships. And so it's not like everything's just dumping into my lap. I'm still having to do the groundwork of trying to build these relationships because some of them simply go, oh, Soliant, cool. And then other of them are like, yeah, but you're not the guy I used to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the simple fact of I'm not the guy they used to work with, who his ability to connect with people and like form these like bonds with people over the phone was just like unparalleled.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm blown away. A lot of respect for what he could do. And now I'm in this space of like doing my best. And it's so much it seems like growth is about to go crazy, which I'm still like in this phase of like, all right, I'm just going to keep going and like allow for that to happen. But this is also the first month that I took a big step backwards in my numbers. I've taken small step backwards before, but this is the first like big one. Dang. All right. But I haven't felt like I've put less effort in. Like I really feel I've been doing my best to like invest in my team's learning, who most of my team is pretty new, and then doing my best to focus on mine and keep my desk rolling and growing. And yet I still took this big step backwards. I was like, and that's coming right at this time of my roommates now moved out. So I'm now in this house alone, and energetically and stuff, I love it. Like I love my former roommate. He's a great person. But I am loving being here on my own. But at this point, like, errors of like, I just made this big financial choice. Now I went backward on some of my numbers. And so I feel like it's testing like my patience and my like focus and my drive, and also recognizing like, okay, where can I continue to step up and refine and like do better with my systems?
100%.
And I definitely feel that's something that comes up in like most every area of life.
Yeah. I feel like what's happening right now is that there's more momentum and more success in multiple areas of life. Where in the past, I didn't have the structure or system to kind of hold it, to hold the energy, and so like it can continue going up. So I would like basically crash. But I'm at a point now, it's like, okay, I know like this is what's supposed to happen. Energy is supposed to compound. And now I just have to restructure things in a more efficient way so that I can hold that energy. And some of that restructuring is just how I make decisions. It's just like some of that restructuring is letting go of just older parts of myself, like around needing everything to be perfect, or needing to holding on to certain relationships. Like it's letting things go so that some of these new things are just kind of come in. Like you're talking about allowing it. I remember we did one episode about allowing the river to flow and just kind of removing the rocks from the river so it can flow. So it's kind of doing that too, because if we're looking at my life as a river, there's definitely some things in my river stream that don't necessarily need to be there that I can remove so that the river can just the river can just flow. And yeah, things don't get dammed up.
You have examples you want to bring in, or we
Uh,
keep it flowing? We keep it flowing.
sure. I mean, so one thing is, we have this podcast. I started that program, We're Born. That's Tuesday mornings. It's the fourth quarter, so it's the busiest quarter for sales. Dating somebody new. So there's all these things that need to be grounded. You and I have a rhythm with this, and yet we need to restructure this too, so we can take it to the next level with marketing and all those things. Our Reborn is going to take some time to ground that and making time for that. And it's the classes happen during the beginning of the workday, which is normally either when I'm coming back from the gym or starting my actual workday. But so it's taking up some time there. And I would say the other thing is, the new person that I'm dating, just making sure that that has the time that's required to really make sure we have clarity there. And what else did I mention? Something else, man. But it's just, it's just a lot of newness, man. It's a lot of new, and managing that and then holding on to the stuff that is meant to stay. Yeah. For yourself with your business, I think part of sales is these rhythms, right? Things go up and they come down, and it's a part of it. Like, you'll have a big pipeline, you'll sell most of what's in your pipeline, and then you have to, recreate that pipeline. Ideally, we're always adding to the pipeline as we're closing business, but it doesn't always work that way. So do you just feel like it's a period where you close what you had in your pipeline, where also too, it could be a slower time of the year for your business? I'm not sure, but like, outside of your effort, what do you think? What else is going on that you can see?
So this last month and then this month, last month into like the next 2 months
Mm,
tend to be the biggest billings times.
mm,
So for people actually working and logging hours for then me to be able to make commission.
mm,
These are those times for that to happen. Recently, though, there's been several people who either got let go or kind of just didn't show up. There's been
mm,
people not working all of their hours. And then there was like this one dude who kind of lost it while he was at the school. And while I was doing my best to manage that situation, make sure that when he was being let go, I was like, okay, so let's be sure we have got clear communication as to why, make sure this is the right call. And then something came in, I was like, okay, yeah, definitely letting him go. And it's like, cool, but we don't know what he did. The school like wasn't really sure what actually like he accomplished while he was there. So I was trying to get him to create something for us to show the school what he did. But for him, there's really no incentive because out in California, we have to pay our people. And because of the way we're structured, we just lose out. Then the school, because of the school decided not to pay us, they just don't pay us.
mm,
And, they came to us to say, like, we don't want to pay if we don't see what he did, which is understandable. And so I tried to get it and I couldn't. And then to try to at least salvage the relationship with the school, I was like, okay, cool. Let's just make sure they don't actually get charged for this. So which means that the company's profit takes a hit, and my like margin and my commission, like it also takes a big
yeah,
hit.
yeah,
And so there was that expectation of, okay, there's this, but then it turned into a deficit of what that expectational growth was.
mm,
And so that was like frustrating. And there were a couple of situations similar, not as extreme. And so that I was kind of seeing coming. But then there's been all of these near misses with things.
mm,
Okay, it's so close, and there's a point where I'm wondering how much of this job is put it together and put this together, get that orchestrated, which I'm good at. And then how much of it is that people management and convincing this person here and that person here. Hey, this is all good. Hey, don't worry about it. Can we please keep trying? And almost begging someone sometimes, which I'm not so good at.
yeah,
And
yeah. I
so
mean,
that's not what I'm coming up against there.
mhm,
And this time of year, what we're coming into is a time when there's like a second ramp. Summer is like the busy time for us because that's when we're staffing schools. And then right now going into winter is when like it starts to ramp up again because people are leaving or maternity leaves are happening. And so schools are finally getting desperate and going, oh yeah, we said we were gonna definitely fill this on our own, but now we can't. And the lawsuit threats are stacking up. So let's go with a contractor. And so now that's that time. So I'm doing my best to continue to catalyze on that. So it's just constantly a lot that's happening all at the same time. And then on top of that, the way that our company is structured has changed so much. there's a lot to be getting used to right now.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels very overwhelming and very like, holy shit. But then at other times I recognize, all right, cool. I've been here long enough to where I know the base level parameters of my job, and I've gotten pretty good at that. And now it's this recognition of I have the ability to handle this, to do it, and
Mhm,
just not let myself fold and crumble and like hide from it.
mhm,
And then really just refine wherever I can. So
mhm.
where can I do slightly better here? Where can I do slightly better there? So like
100%, man.
it feels like a very complicated problem at times, and at other times it feels like a very simple problem.
Yeah.
A lot of the newer people on my team, will be complaining a lot about my one deal fell apart. And I feel for them because, like, for someone who's brand new and they have one deal, for that one deal to fall apart, that's huge. That's a lot. And then I was like, I hear you. I feel for you. And I'm sitting here and they're seeing a deal or two go up for me. And they're like, must be nice. But they're not seeing the deal or two coming down or the two or three that I'm trying to make sure don't come down. I'm like, sure. Yeah, I get your perspective. I don't really know where I'm going with that, except to
No.
say that I am proud of myself for being able to see my own growth and my own strength in it,
Mhm,
my ability to like just breathe through it and go.
mhm,
And then
mhm.
also not get frustrated when people who don't have the tenure are getting frustrated
Yeah.
with what now kind of feels, I don't want to say a small problem because it's not. Like that's just perspective, but what feels like something that I've dealt with a lot and do deal with a lot.
I think something that's gonna bring in a lot of abundance in your life and my life,
Bring it
anyone
on.
who's listening to
Let's
this
go.
life is I'm listening to this, is learning to give your gifts and to, like, give your best even when the money's not coming in, like, even on those down slopes, and that's something that I'm working with myself on, is I'm building a
Yeah.
new territory. Well, it's basically I got a bunch of accounts that other people hadn't cracked yet, or where it's, like, mostly renewals, but there wasn't a ton of, like, mature deals to close, and so what I'm working with myself on is, like I'm paying myself, like every time I make a phone call, every time I do some type of activity, to go to see a customer in person, work on marketing for a specific event. Every time I pick up the phone, every time I go to a meeting, it's me paying myself now, right? And so like my goal is, to make 300K, right? So every activity that I do is one step closer to that $300,000. Whether I'm seeing it right now or not, but I just know the activity just feels really aligned with like my goals. So for example, we're doing it's really cool. We're doing an event where, dude, I've got 12 white space accounts coming to one event, right? It's a sporting event. That's fucking huge, bro. It's 10%. It's 10% of my entire white space list. It's awesome, right? So it's like, right. I'm paying myself for 2026 now, right? I don't know how much of that I'm going to see this year, right? But it's like, okay, cool. And so these little things I can do to like try to keep myself going when I'm not seeing that end result, which I want to be all the money coming in, something that's been helping me, man. If you're listening to this, if you could think about whatever your gift is or whatever that you're doing, and there's going to be times where it seems like you're not being appreciated or the money's not coming in, but like, can you still like give that gift during those times? Because what I think is going to happen, and I'm in the process of testing this out right now. What I think is going to happen is that the universe is going to respond, and because you continue to show up, the universe is going to show up for you more. Um, in Adeyemi's course in Penetrate and Reborn, one of the things that he says is like, if you want to have outstanding results, right? Outstanding being the highest level result you can have. I'm sorry, if you want to have excellent results, right, which is the second highest tier, then you want to have an outstanding output. If you want to have okay results, then you have to have an excellent level of output, right? So the idea being that you always get one level below, because growing up, I used to think it was you get what you put into it, but what his thought was, you always get back one level below the output that you're putting out. So with that being said, right, my thing is I want to have an excellent life or better. So my thing is to just always be outstanding. How can I be outstanding this week? Next week is going to be how can I be outstanding this week, right? So that's going to be my measurement. So last week, my outstanding bar was I had 7 meetings on a Friday, 3 of them being with customers, right? But we had our QBRs last week. So it's like, okay, 2 days out of the week is spent doing internal stuff, not selling. But how can I still have an outstanding sales week? The week before that, it was something else, right? But it's like, what can I do that's outstanding? Because I know that if I keep doing outstanding things, I'm going to get excellent results back.
Yeah. I like what you said. And I can see how that mindset that, you're always going to get one step below the effort that you put in can definitely keep driving you to always do your best and to always get better and to always
100%.
refine. And I really like that because I think that would prevent stagnation. That alone, that kind of head space would prevent stagnation. I think that's
Mhm.
something I could definitely implement in my work, in my personal business, in this podcast, everything really. Always keeping that in mind, getting that one step back. There's a part of me that wonders whether or not that it almost innately puts you in a lack mindset, but I
Mhm.
don't know.
Mm.
But it was something that came alive and like a curiosity that came alive. But that point that you said that pay yourself now with
Mhm.
the efforts that you're doing, I just wrote that down on a sticky note that lives here on my desk
Dope.
to pay
Dope.
yourself now. Really think about that with everything. Because I'll have days where most of my days are hitting my numbers metrics and closing deals. Like
Mhm.
the minimum goal is a deal a week.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I'm typically between 1 and 2, sometimes 3. But my goal right now, what I've upped that to is like, okay, try to do like the minimum of 2 a week to get beyond that. Because for a long time, my goal was 1 a week, just keep at least 1 a week. And that kept me pretty stable. And it's
Mhm.
continued to do that. And now I'm hitting this wall that I feel like you're saying this, that I'm receiving back just below what I put in.
Mm.
So, okay, how can I put in a little bit more? I feel like part of it's going to be like organization, which I'm pretty good at. Part of it's going to be really building or finding a new way to build like client profiles and
Mhm.
who's where, and yeah, having a better reference point for who's at each client and what they do and where I should be going and like places to put little notes in. Because I was just chatting with a new client to me about her granddaughter, and like she has a second one on the way, and how the first one doesn't really understand because right now she's got her granddad wrapped around her finger and like doesn't know what's about to be coming and kind of isn't excited about being a big sister because of that. But it was this nice connection point that we hit pretty quick. And I was able to be like, well, I'm not a parent, but got a lot of nieces and nephews and
Mhm.
I watch them with my parents. So it was a cool connection point. And I remember in that conversation, I'm thinking like, man, I want to hold on to this. I don't want to let this to be like one of those things that just like slips by and I forget who I had that conversation with. I want to be able to reference that and like, hey, how's your granddaughter doing? Is your next one there on the way? Which I feel like I spoke to earlier, was where a kind of a weakness of mine is on that deeper relationship building
Mhm.
with my clients. Because I know how to do the job and I know how to like keep things orderly and I know how to like get them to people and all of these. And now I think that next step is that relationship building.
100%. Dude, so I have a customer. One of my biggest customer and also customer with new business that I have right now. It's like 3 or 4 projects that we have with them. My main point of contact, he's like an admin engineer type guy. So he's not the decision maker, but he's the one to use the technology, right? Trying to figure out like what is his thing because I like sports. I like basketball. I like UFC. I like golf is okay. But there's so many things that we can do in sales. It doesn't just have to be golf or just have to be let's go get a drink. There's so many other things that you can do. What this guy likes to do is play video games. So, bro, when I tell you, I just ordered a PS5 over the weekend. It's already here. I got Battlefield 6 because he loves the game Battlefield 6, and we're going to play Battlefield 6, and that's how we're going to build our relationship. I could legit see him actually being a friend. There's a couple before I saw you tonight. I was with there's a white space account. So the white space account is an account that's not a current customer for whoever's listening. They're a white space account, but they come to a few lunches. We've done some sporting events together, and we finally got to the point where like, you know what, we're not interested in Fortnite at this time. But I said, you know what? Let's the person who my main point of contact there, this lady. I was like, oh, let me come see your facility because they have a really nice workspace facility. So I went over there. They have pool and all this food and all these cool things. And I found out earlier today before going to see them that they got acquired by another company. So no wonder why they're not looking to do stuff. That being said, me going to play pool with her and hang out and talk, I realized, okay, they're not interested right now, but they legitimately could be later once they know how things are going to be ran after the acquisition. Because there's one account where I have the parent account, the subsidiary is the company that got acquired is still the company making all the decisions. So the account manager for the subsidiary company is actually the one running things because they're handling all of IT, so you don't know what's gonna actually happen. So, yeah, so, I mean, I think, dude, that relationship piece is definitely key, and what I would say with that is it's all about being true and authentic to yourself, and you'll find those that align with that. Because when I was trying to put on a front or I'm like this golfer and golf is cool, but I don't love golf, right? Once I started being true to like what I like and what I love, I'm finding that there's more people gravitating to me now than before.
Man, yeah, honestly, if I could be building relationships with pool, like you
Mm,
pointed out there, or even chess, I'm slightly better at pool than I'm at
yeah,
chess, but I love them both,
yeah.
and I'm not prolific at either. I'm at that point where if you don't know what you're doing, I'm probably gonna win. If you know what you're doing, we're probably like it's gonna be like a good game. But if you really know what you're doing, you're good. I'm gonna get it obliterated.
That's a lot.
That's where I'm at with both, but like that would be pretty great to be able to build relationships that way and really just coming up with new ways. Cause I mean, my position, so much of it is phone calls and emails.
Mm,
So much.
mm.
I can go in person when and if I make the plan, okay, I want to fly to this area because I've got
Oh,
these
sorry, you
clients
gotta
here. I
fly.
got
You gotta fly
yeah,
to your territory.
yeah, because 90, I think 90 to 95% of my business is in Northern California.
Sheesh.
And then I got a little bit that I'm building in Washington. I've
Dude,
got a tiny amount in Tennessee. I've got a little bit that I'm building in Maine. But these states that where my territory is, it's like a smattering of states.
yeah.
All of our territories are these smattering of states. But like I've worked my entire 5 years, at least in California. So most of my business is there.
Once a quarter, you should be in California. If your company will allow you to be out there.
I don't know that we do that much, but
Mm,
it wouldn't be a bad idea, but I've recognized that it could help, but I've also recognized that I don't know if it's just me with my own block of don't want to take the time away from my active business
mm,
to be putting these plans together,
mm, mm.
or if I'm just not willing to put in that extra time like outside of business
For
hours.
sure, for
Because
sure.
I've held a pretty strict like, nah, I'm done, I'm done.
Yep.
And that's including or excluding, I guess, giving some of my clients my personal phone number.
Mm,
So some school directors have my personal numbers and I have theirs. But
yeah,
the only
yeah.
way I get their personal number rather than a school number is being like, it's going in my phone, not our main system. So you don't have to worry about my colleagues blowing you up on your personal phone.
Mhm,
That's how I get that.
mm,
So when they reach out and need something and I have time, sure, I'll get to it. But for the most part,
yeah,
I stop answering emails. I stop doing the work stuff when I'm done.
got you.
And I don't know if that's just like an area that I need to grow more or
It's
what.
it's completely your choice. I'll say I spent about, damn, probably at least 10 years doing most of it was like 95%. Most of it was like most like on the phone. And now I'm in a role that's much more in the field. And I would say my mindset changed. I had the mindset of I'm not really trying to spend time after hours going to go see this customer or play golf or whatever. I want to spend time with the people that really matter to me. What I'm finding is that I'm having so much more fun, dude. Like going out to
Mm.
these restaurants, playing about to play Battlefield 6 with this partner, all these things, it's fun. And you actually get to know these people and actually like, oh, I actually like this person. But it's after you have to work through those initial blocks of I don't want to take time away from this and they're not paying me for that. I generally developed a love for it. So it doesn't feel that way. But initially I had almost the same exact mindset, bro. So I think it's just being uncomfortable and sometimes you might not like it at first, but then you'll find that things you'll go to that one restaurant with the really good food with that customer that you do like, and you'll have a really good conversation. Like, oh shit, we do have all this stuff in common. And then you'll see how much quicker they respond to you or how much more they want to buy from you. And it's like, oh shit, all I had to do was go hang out with this person. Now they want to buy all this stuff from me. It's literally that simple. And what I've noticed now is I have less accounts. I used to have 1,300 accounts. Now I have 130 accounts. And I can make, and with about 10 or so accounts, the people on my team that are established, they only have 7 to 10 accounts. So out of the 130 accounts that I have, I just need to find 7 to 10 that are willing to buy. Once I have that, dude, I'm going to be making a lot more money doing less work because I don't have 1,300 accounts to manage all these tiny things, right? So it's going to be more this guy that I'm playing video games with doing these video game tournaments. I can see us doing video game tournaments. It's going to be going to these nice dinners with these people I've been working with for years, and it's going to be fun. And when we be talking about what more we can do together, and it's going to become more of like a referral. It's just going to the whole thing's going to shift, man. See
And that
people.
right there where you're getting at is where I start sometimes wishing I was in a more traditional sales role because so much of my stuff is
Word.
schools and it's all
Mm.
like school based.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to sell in schools too, and I thought it was fascinating. Like, the buying cycle, they buy most of the stuff. Was it July or something like that? Is when they used to buy a lot of their stuff. Is when the new year starts. July, August, something like that.
Yeah, during the summer,
During the summer,
hiring, fall
hiring.
buying, everything like that.
But it's people, man. So I just feel like you just got to find, it's just about finding people you like working with and then also can do business with. And they're out there. I used to have the scarcity mindset of, I work in New York City. There's so many cool people out here, man, that are into the same shit that I'm into. I do think location matters. I mean, you're in Atlanta. I think you're in a pretty dope area as well. No, your people are in California. I'm sorry, but you live in Atlanta. I don't know, man. That's another thing too, is like, for me, I've had many jobs and I found a place to where I want to stick around. The money, once the territory is established, the money is going to be amazing. But right now, the money could be better. But everything else I love, right? So I don't know how many companies you've worked at. Maybe this is the company for you, especially you taking on more territory, or maybe there's something that's more aligned with your actual passion. I don't know. We haven't really talked about that a ton. But how I
This
used
has
to,
been one of those that when I first started this job, I
yeah,
resented it because I'd never really wanted a corporate
that's
gig
right,
or anything like that. And it wasn't until I finally let go of that and recognized no one forced me to take this. I was and then my ex-wife encouraged me to take it because the friend who referred me, and
yeah,
she recognized you'd be really good at this.
hmm,
And it was right at the beginning of COVID, and all of my work had dropped off.
hmm,
So once I dropped the judgment about it, excuse me, once I dropped the judgment about it and the narrative of this is the worst thing I could be doing,
hmm,
I was able to have so much more appreciation for it.
hmm,
And through that appreciation for it, I began to build, I'm not going to say not a passion for it, but a love for what I do because I still get to help people in this way and that way. And even my mindset coaching comes into it because sometimes I'll be on the phone with a client, with a candidate that's having a rough time, or with a recruiter that's having a rough time. And it's all just dimensions of interrelationships with people. And so I'll challenge them on how they're going about this, or bring in more kindness, or bring in more love, bring in more understanding in this and that, but also with firmness. Because there's also plenty of times where you have to kind of call someone on their BS and just be like, I hear that you feel that they're coming at you and they're coming after you and all of this,
yeah,
but the fact of the matter is you haven't done the job you were hired for.
hmm,
So if you had done a good job in general and done the job you were hired for, then everything you're saying would hold more water and would
hmm,
be more understanding. Unfortunately, that's not what happened.
hmm,
And so it's still coming at it with love and with compassion and with understanding, but firm enough and clear enough to say, yeah, but don't lie about
hmm.
what's been going on to try to get your way.
That's
And so there's been these really cool moments. I even have a client for my business
mhm,
that I got through this job, just through client calls and everything, through interviews. I chat with the people sometimes,
mhm,
and we ended up just in a personal chat for quite a while. And now she's a personal client of mine, which is dope. It's so cool. I didn't expect that out of it. I've never really expected that out of this, but
yeah,
it happened. So, all right,
mhm.
cool. So just being me and bringing my authenticity to it has brought me some cool stuff.
Let's see, that's fire. See, there you go. I like that.
One of my coworkers on my team will talk a lot about, relationship and how we show up and like these big differences. And there's things I laugh at her about, and then she'll ask me for like these feedbacks and what do you think? And I told her, I say things to you in the way that I tell you because, we're coworkers and we're friends here, and I'm not like,
Mm,
if we had a coaching relationship, I would handle these things, or I would approach them slightly differently. I'd be bringing them to you in such a way to see if you can dig it up and figure it out and pull it out.
mm.
But you're asking me directly, so I'm going to tell you directly.
Yeah,
And it leads to some really funny moments of her just laughing her ass off about how blunt I am about
mhm.
what I see, but still, I'm not being incompassionate, just discompassionate, uncompassionate, uncompassionate.
Sure, lack of compassion.
Yeah, yeah, I'm still having compassion. Because even the things that hit sideways, I'll tend to like slow down a little bit and like, all right, hold on. If that hit sideways, then let's dig into that.
Yeah,
Said something about delusion today. And like she had this moment of like, I don't think you can say that. And I was like, hold on. What I was saying is not that you are delusional. What I was saying is that like I don't know whether or not what you're telling me is delusion or not. Because I don't know what I don't know. But then when we continued talking about it, she had said enough to where it's like, okay, yeah, that's not delusion. So then I was able to say, when I was saying that it could be, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But as you've continued talking and recognizing, yeah, you've done these things, so it's not. But delusion is that space of like being you're here, living to this some standard here, but actually you're living in this standard here, but you're just telling everybody that you're living at this standard. It's like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fucking delusion.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what I didn't really know.
Oof, that's so real. I've been there. I've been delusional like that before.
Oh, big same.
Yeah.
Big same. Honestly, I feel like it's only been until relatively recently that I finally hit a point where I feel that I'm living at the same level that I'm presenting.
Mm.
And of course, there's areas that I need more that I continue to refine and I continue to get better at. But I do finally feel like I'm in this area of solidly cool. I feel good about that. I practice what I preach. That I put
Man,
these things.
I mean, and two, we have the same fake it till you make it. So that's something that I know we've both grown up with. And what I know for myself when it comes to like delusion is that, you know, it's not always on purpose, especially because I didn't know vibrationally what a certain word meant. Like love, for example. Okay, I have an idea of what love is, but to vibrationally be in a frequency of love and loving another person, loving myself, I don't know it until I know it, until I can feel love literally running through every cell and out of my body. I don't know. So funny. One of the things that came up for me was punishing myself, right? I'm sure you said to somebody, yo, stop being so hard on yourself or stop punishing yourself, or maybe you've done that yourself. And I was actually working with a specific being, enlightened being through my meditation. And what she was showing me was how much I punished myself. And I couldn't see it until I felt it in my body. I couldn't see it until I felt it in my gut. And like the memories of how my mother taught me how to punish myself through like and how to doubt myself and like all these things and like how I would start to stop myself because of what I was feeling vibration within my body. I didn't know what self-punishment looked like until I felt that. And so it's funny because I think the delusion is that we don't understand what it is that we're saying because what we're saying is something that is truly vibrational and experiential. And until we've experienced it vibrationally, we can't really fully know what it is. We can talk about it, we can write about it, but we can't fully know it.
Yeah.
And
I've
that
got
goes
this
back
one
to
example
Kabbalion.
that I say that again.
That goes back to Kabbalion. Start talking about like law of vibration, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But go ahead.
I've got this one example that I use from my own life of when I really recognize I'd done a really good job
Mm,
of training out self abuse in my
mm,
language and the way I treat myself. Because I used to speak to myself terribly.
mm,
And it came out in a big way in my marriage to
mm,
where like it was undeniable because I got really drunk one night and I spoke to
mm,
my ex-wife in the same way I would speak to myself. And I was
mm,
like, fuck, it's not okay.
mm,
But then years later, while I was with my ex-girlfriend, it was right before she had moved to Atlanta and we were on the phone and an argument started to crop up. And then I don't remember what it was that she said, but she said something that was very disrespectful and very insulting and this intentional barb at me.
mm,
And I was like, I don't do that. I don't abuse myself, and I'm not okay with you doing that to me either. Okay. Now, if you want to take a second and rephrase what you said so that way it can come across in how you're meaning it, cool, let's keep talking. Otherwise, I'm going to hang up and I'm going to continue with doing what I'm doing. Because I wasn't trying to tell her, you're wrong, you're stupid, shut up, nothing like that.
mm,
But I was saying, oh, we can talk, but it's not going to be insulting. It's not going to be degrading. None of that. Because I
mm,
didn't do that to myself. And so my entire system just was like, no. And I was able to put up that boundary really right then and there
mm.
because I had this higher standard and I was able to do it without anger, without any kind of combativeness in return, was able to just do it firmly
Love that.
and softly and kindly, just be like, no, but this is how it is. But
Mm-hmm.
my entire system registered, nope, that's getting into that verbal abuse area. Shut
Mm-hmm.
this down right now.
100%.
Because that
Yeah.
I'd done so much work around, I don't speak to myself that way. I speak to
Yeah.
myself in this.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually messaging a friend about this yesterday, but okay, how do I want to say this? You talking about how you retrained your whole system. I feel, okay, where do I want to start? Okay, let's go back to vibration, right? There is every word has a vibration, like the word love, kindness, hatred, money has a vibration, depending how you associate with it, abundance, gratitude. a sentence can have its own vibration. I went to the store today would have its own frequency or vibration. And these words, these sentences become narratives that we and or allow somewhere in our energetic system. And so the healing, right? We talked about this before, is uncovering all these different narratives. But really, it's really the vibration of the narratives that they carry. And it's for these things that we attract that we don't want, for them to stop coming into our life or for them to stop affecting us in a way where we allow it to bring us down. We have to fully remove that vibration from our energetic body, from our system. And I don't think people realize how much healing goes into healing because I'm still realizing what that is. And I literally will be doing healing work all throughout the day. I call it passive healing. I have all my different archangels and seven masters that I work with, and I'll just be at my computer typing, and they'll be sending me healing energy all day, hours per day. And when I say that, it's basically like them reflecting back to me the divinity, either the divinity that's already within me, something that's high vibrational, or the wound that's blocking the divinity that's already in me or that wants to come through me. So, for example, I was talking to about self punishment. The more and more I remove the energy of punishment from my energetic system and from my memory, the more I can allow in feelings of bliss, right? And feelings of harmony and joy to come through. So think about how much memory DNA can hold. It goes back generations. It goes back thousands of years, maybe to the beginning of time, to to the first person that started your freaking lineage. Which, okay, I guess it goes back. I guess we're talking about going back to God, going back to God, right? And so there's so much memory, so many lifetimes, so many narratives, so many words, so many sentences that all carry a vibration that has to be healed, bro. That's work, and there's more effective systems than others. So as I've been on this healing path, right, I've got my system right now, energetic vibrational healing. I'm really, really heavy on that because instead of me reading a book about love or reading a book about like how not to punish myself, I learned about a vibration. I learned through transmission. And so instead of me reading a book for weeks or for a month and then only understanding up here, I'm getting the vibrational teaching of it for an hour, 2 hours, whatever, a day, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, then it's gone. Then I let in the high vibration. So I even think how we think about healing needs to be changed too,
Yeah, I just want
or
to roll back what you
evolved.
said about think about how many sentences, how many harmful vibratory sentences have been said to your lineage.
Yeah.
Just thinking about an average week or an average day in your own life,
Hmm.
that is just astronomical to think about. The words that you choose
Hmm.
are deepening wounds or
Hmm.
they're healing them
Hmm.
for yourself, for others, for everything. So to
Yes.
me, that is the essence of living consciously. Like the name of our podcast, building consciousness. It's not about like suddenly becoming some greater thing, but in every moment, choosing something slightly more, choosing the healing, choosing to live in just a little bit more awareness here and there. So what can you do? Because like with this example that I was giving before about the language and the way I spoke to myself, I had to go from this anytime I would insult myself or think negatively of myself, I just stop, apologize to myself, and rebuild that sentence into something accurate and constructive
Hmm.
for months before it became automatic. And now that it's automatic, I don't do it anymore. I don't self-abuse
Hmm.
anymore.
Hmm.
I'm able to just operate.
Hmm.
And it's a different way of living. But I think about how often I would self-abuse before doing this practice.
Hmm.
I think about how often my parents self-abuse to this day unconsciously,
Hmm.
how often their parents,
Hmm.
and just how, I guess, how much mire like built up around all of that, just how much
Yeah.
gunk is there
Yeah.
to start working through.
I look at healing from a couple different perspectives. One of them is like programming. To be programmed, the system has to be taught a certain way. So if you look at it like how I was looking at this the other day, just yesterday, is we were just taught a lot of inefficient ways to do things, or
Mm.
the wrong way, sometimes intentionally, sometimes purposely, sometimes unintentionally. So really, literally, what we are used to think like the saying of how the purpose of us being here is like it's like Earth is like a school. We're in Earth school. We're learning about ourselves and become aware of ourselves. Some of it used to sound like fluff to me, but I literally thought it's actually truth because we literally are reprogramming our system, recalibrating our nervous system, reprogramming, reframing our beliefs, right? So we were taught it's like the operating system, the core operating system that we were given was a malfunctioning, disharmonious one. And we have to replace the core of how we were brought into this world into a completely new system. And that's so basically we're learning a new algorithm is what we're doing. So there is
I mean, I want to challenge that, like
challenge it. Yeah, yeah, challenge it, challenge it.
yeah,
Let
just because this idea of life being a school,
yeah,
I don't agree with it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I agree that there are things we learn.
Mhm,
Yes, there are things we learn to grow and do
mhm,
things differently and to make new choices or better choices or healthier choices. But I very much see it more as a game. In
mhm.
this, we're given everything that we need to grow and to learn, but we're here for the experience of it. We're here for the play of it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
the things that we have to heal, to me, they're not inherent in the system of the way it was supposed to be, quote unquote. Because when we're born these beautiful little perfect things that then immediately get assaulted by all kinds of things. For most people, the first human interaction coming into this planet was a form of violence with smack on the butt, get them crying,
Mm,
when that's now been more and more widely disputed of, yeah, you don't actually have to smack a baby in the butt and get them to cry to make sure their lungs are clearing. There's tools for that, stethoscopes and things like that. Like there's other things to be done rather than immediately inciting violence.
yeah.
But like so many things from our youth, because so many of our parents and our guardians and just the people around us, many people are operating from so many wounds unconsciously. We create a lot of wounds in the younger generations. And so it's created a system that, yes, we have to heal, but I don't believe that that is the purpose of being here, is just healing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
very
yeah,
much
yeah.
believe that like the healing is to be done, but then once we heal, we can fucking expand,
Yeah,
you
100%.
know?
So think about it like this. Think about it like this, right? It unlearning all these things that we've learned, all these malware viruses that we've taken on into our nervous system of like harmonious relationships, cheating, lying, not showing up, wearing the mask, taking all that shit off. We're learning how to do all that. We're learning how to present ourselves authentically, right? And then it's learning how to go out and create, how to create the world that we want to live in, how to create heaven on earth. So, and the better we get, so, and I'm gonna stay with school because I don't think we're necessarily talking about two different things. I think it's just the perspective of it, and through this, and then we get to go up at different grades or just going into higher dimensions. So we're at this level now. We want to know how to really create and like how to create consciously and intentionally, like and live congruently. Then that's when we can stop reincarnating and go into a higher dimension. Now live as ascended masters. And so then there's that. Now we're in college or whatever, probably sixth grade. But anyways, because I think there's so many higher dimensions to get to.
Yeah, I think if everything was like a one for one with school, I feel like humanity would be
Yeah,
third grade. Maybe some people are at like fourth or fifth, but
100%.
like, oh man, I don't think we even made it in high school.
But I'll say this though, like for me, it takes away me taking things personally. If somebody hurts me, it's just they just were taught something different, or they're just learning. They're learning too. When I look at it from that standpoint of they're learning too, or they're just taught something different, I don't take it as personal. I can like it's easier to forgive, or it's just more like maybe forgiveness not even needed. It's just like this is what they have, this is what they're going through, and that's
Yeah,
okay too.
understanding. Yeah. And like
Yeah.
from my point of view with the game thing,
Mhm.
like that's
I want to
something
hear. I
that's
want to hear
helped
you.
me
I
as
want to hear you
well.
expand on that a little bit.
Because when I see things like that,
Mhm.
like so somebody coming at me sideways or just living in a way that I wouldn't choose to, I very much am like, all right, well, that's the experience that you're choosing. Cool. Like if that works for you and that's what you want, cool. Because I'm a big proponent of enjoy your life, do as you please, just don't hurt people.
Mhm.
Baseline for me, do as you please, just don't hurt people.
Mhm.
Like and do your like also to me, do your best not to hurt life unnecessarily, like honor it. And like if you're when you have to consume it or whatnot, honor it, do it in a good way. But it's helped me navigate in this way of like, okay, that person, cut you off in traffic. All right. How am I going to choose to live my experience, to play my game? Because I can choose option A, fuck you, you this, you that, honk my horn and get all mad and get that hopped up and continue on with that energy for a while. Or option B of, man, hope is important and let it go. I'm sure there's a myriad of other
For
choices
sure.
as
For sure.
well.
For sure.
But like, those were the two extremes that I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
used to be that like "Grrr," like rage machine. Now I'm very much just like, all right, it's all good. More of an observer and an appreciator, I would say. And then when it is coming time for me to just be in the moment, just play, like seriously, just play. And I feel that for me, it's brought in so much more compassion to see things as play and recognizing that all of us are just playing this game for the first time. Someone might get pissed, someone might get hurt, someone might misunderstand something. So, all right, time out, take a second, let's understand each other. Where are those parameters, those rules, I guess you would say, that we're playing this game by in relation to each other? So then we can understand each other better. All right, cool. Now we continue our game in better understanding of what we're both.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, man. I think we talked about this the other day, with dating and stuff, and taking that step back. And like I said to you, like the person that I'm dating now, instead of putting emphasis on it has to be this, or so actually maybe this is a little different than what you were just saying. Instead of me focusing so much more on like what it needs to be or what it has to look like, just dropping into the authenticity of what it is, you know what? She's a cool chick. I'm cool. We're cool. And how can I explain it? I don't even know if it's gonna fit in. Ouch, hurt myself.
Letting it flow,
What's up?
letting it flow.
Yeah, yeah, right. Letting it flow, right? Um, letting it flow, man, for sure. Letting it flow. But the thing is, like, in me relaxing into myself and relaxing into the connection, it's actually allowing us to talk about the structure that we want in a more natural way. So it's like just ironic how that happened. It's like by me relaxing, I was able to polarize myself and my masculine, make the female feel safe, magnetizing her to me more type of thing. And now that she feels safe, all the things that I want to do, we're talking about it more and more because now she feels safe because I'm relaxed and I'm not all, it has to be like this, has to like, no, it's allowing her to be her, allowing me to be me type of thing. So it's interesting.
I just saw a video of the guy. I'm blanking on his name, even though I went to his conference. The Awaken Your Higher Self. His name,
Oh, my, Danny
Danny
Morel
Morale. Danny Morale. Yeah,
was on
one
my,
of his
was in my
videos
story.
came up.
Oh
Huh?
no, it was in my story. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just,
It might. I think it might have been your story where
word,
he posted a thing about like
yes.
when you try
50-50.
to enact things 50-50,
Yes.
where
Yes.
like when
Touch
you're
on
trying
that.
to operate in a relationship with a masculine feminine
Mhm.
poles and you're trying to do things 50-50, you're innately, as the masculine, you're innately making your feminine partner not feel safe within that. And so when they don't feel safe, they're not able to fully go into their feminine and be in that and bring in
Mhm.
that beauty and that magic that's there. And as I was hearing that, I was like, damn, that is exactly what I did in my marriage. I was like, I want things to be 50-50 and like
Mhm.
equal this and that. And like, I didn't fucking understand what I was doing or
Yeah.
saying. And like one thing I recognize now at least is that like that's not to mean that like, okay, if you're the masculine pole, you must go out and work the job and like make the money. What I'm starting to recognize that it's more than that because you can have boss woman who goes out and makes some money, but then comes back and she just wants to be soft. She just wants to be in there in her feminine. And I've
Yeah.
been giving this thought from, all right, so how do you maintain the masculine pole if say you're a stay-at-home dad?
Mhm.
Well, for one, you're in the container that you've built all of the time. So making it nice, getting it into this good state. If you are a stay-at-home dad sort,
Mhm.
then planning things out for, all right, you're at home at this time. Don't worry, I got you. Because right when you get back, I've already got this set for you. I got that set for you.
Mhm.
Tonight we're staying in and doing this and that. Or tonight we're going out to your favorite place to do that. This weekend I've already got a plan, like a trip plan. So that way, if they are having to operate in their masculine at work to do that, let them turn it off, completely
Mhm.
off, and then just have that command of, nah, these are the things that are in place that I'm setting up for us to do. And I
100%.
feel like that is a way to like honor if like your feminine partner still wants to make the money, whether it's the mass or not, but then still honoring that energetic dynamic of, all right, cool, but step it up in other areas because they're there.
Yeah.
There's that opportunity there.
I think it's about taking care of things. I think it's about being
Taking care of business.
taking care. Yeah, I think it's about staying grounded, staying centered, staying clear, and allowing that play to come through. And and this element of just being cool with this person because there's a level of if you're relaxed, she's gonna be relaxed. If you're tense, she's gonna feel tense. So I do think there's a financial piece to it as well. So I think so. Here's how I think Danny Burrow is spot on. Like you want to get to the point. You might not start off there, and not be in a place to where you can pay for anything, everything, take care of everything. But if you truly do want your partner in her feminine, like he said, I think was really spot on. And I think on the flip side, the job of the feminine is to appreciate, to nurture, to activate that masculine within you more so that you want to go out and conquer the world and bring her the world, right? If your partner's not activating you in that way, then yeah, it's not going to be a fair trade or something reciprocal. What should actually happen, there's another video I posted, what should actually happen is that, if you're operating your divine masculine, she's operating her divine feminine, your energies should actually exponentially increase or multiply. It shouldn't be 1 + 1 = 2. It should be 1 + 1 = 4 when you put the energies together. That's what should actually happen if you guys are operating in harmony.
We're going into quantum math, not rudimentary math.
100%.
We're going into a space where regular math don't math.
Exactly. And his other thing too is I think um what a lot of women are thinking about this too, especially a lot of women that might have daddy issues. But I think in general, it's thinking about, okay, the king archetype is an important energy to bring through in a relationship, especially if it's a high quality woman. And so is the divine father, especially if it's a quality woman, right, that comes from a two-family household, might be used to having a dad who took care of things. And I know you're not the father, but be able to tap into your divine father energy, I think it's so powerful. And I say that because as I'm doing that now, right, not that she's asking me to do that, but I'm just naturally wanting to be a divine masculine man. That's one of the many archetypes I can tap into. As I just start to just take care of things, I notice that she just gives me the attention that I want. She notices the things about me that I do well. I'm like, oh shit, this is nice, right? And so these are things that I'm attuning to more. But yeah, man, just learning how to take care of things on multiple levels.
Taking care of business.
Thanks for tuning in to Building Consciousness with Jaguar and Jay, where we explore spiritual concepts and aim to break them down in a practical way for everyday use. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on future content. If you have thoughts or questions, drop a comment below or connect with us on Instagram, jdoss545 and build_with_Jaguar. We love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and remember, we are the authors of our own reality. This is Jaguar and Jay, signing off.